The Black Knight satellite, the 13,000-year-old mystery orbiting Earth. For decades, a strange object circling our planet has sparked one of the most persistent mysteries of the modern era. An anomaly that seems too large to ignore and too impossible to explain. A story woven from military transmissions, declassified files, NASA photographs, radio signals, and eyewitness accounts from astronauts who saw something they could not identify. Some call it space debris. Some call it a classified military object, and others insist it is something far older, an ancient visitor that has been watching Earth for thousands of years. This is the legend of the Black Knight satellite. Our story begins long before the space age, long before rockets, satellites, or orbit existed even as concepts. In the late 1800s, Nikola Tesla, while experimenting with early radio transmissions, reported receiving repeating signals from space. Signals that seemed structured, patterned, intentional. He believed they originated from intelligent beings somewhere beyond Earth. At the time, the scientific community dismissed him. Radio technology was too new, astronomy too young, imagination too bold. But decades later, when humanity began to launch the first satellites, something disturbing happened. In 1954, newspapers reported that the US Air Force had detected two objects orbiting Earth. Objects that were not American, not Soviet, and not launched by any known program. The space race had barely started. Humans had sent nothing into orbit. Yet radar showed two massive objects circling the planet. At that moment, the mystery began. Some dismissed the reports as misreadings, but then, in 1960, US tracking stations picked up a dark object in polar orbit, an orbit neither the US nor the USSR used at the time. It was large, metallic, moving strangely, and it didn't match any known rocket stage or satellite. The object became known as the Black Knight, a silent watcher circling Earth. NASA denied it. The military stayed quiet. Scientists offered no explanations. And then things became stranger. In the 1960s, a team of Norwegian researchers studying radio signals detected a mysterious pattern known as long-delay echoes. These were radio transmissions sent from Earth that returned seconds later, far too long and irregular to be atmospheric reflections. One researcher, Jürgen Hals, noted that the echoes seemed to be rerouted or processed by something else, something in orbit. Years later, a Scottish astronomer named Duncan Loonan attempted to map the delays. According to his analysis, the signals formed a star chart pointing toward Epsilon Bootis, a double-star system located 52 light-years away. Loonan believed the signal was a reply, an ancient message encoded thousands of years ago, possibly by an artificial probe. His claim was dismissed, but it never died. Then came the photographs. In 1998, astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour captured images of a large, angular, dark object floating high above Earth. The images showed a shape unlike any known satellite. Irregular, sharp-edged, almost like a piece of broken machinery. NASA stated it was a thermal blanket that had drifted away, but many observers disagreed. The size did not match a blanket. The density estimates did not match. The behavior in orbit did not match. And most importantly, identical shapes had been spotted years earlier, long before the shuttle mission. People began connecting the dots, and a chilling narrative emerged. Tesla's unexplained signals in 1889, the Air Force detections in 1954, the object seen in polar orbit in 1960, the strange radio echoes traced to Epsilon Bootis, the photographs in 1998, and ongoing sightings reported by amateur astronomers around the world. Was this one object? Or multiple sightings of the same ancient structure? As more images leaked online, black shapes, angular silhouettes, objects drifting without tumbling, the legend grew. Some believed the Black Knight had been monitoring Earth for 13,000 years, based on Lunan's interpretation of the star map. Others believed the object might be a relic of an ancient extraterrestrial mission, a probe designed to observe planets with emerging civilizations. A few believed it had been here far longer, but the mystery deepens when we look at the behavior of the object itself. According to military tracking logs, the Black Knight occasionally changes altitude, a maneuver difficult for an uncontrolled piece of debris. Some amateur observers claim it shifts orientation as if steering. Others say it sometimes becomes temporarily invisible to radar before reappearing. Could this be sensor error? Quite possibly. But could it also be something else? To explore the possibilities, we must examine the origins of the ancient satellite theory. In the early 20th century, there were no satellites at all. If Tesla truly received signals from orbit in 1899, something artificial would have had to be there long before humans reached space. Ancient Sumerian myths describe objects watching Earth from above. Hindu scriptures mention mechanical chariots in the sky. Even Plato wrote about devices placed in the heavens by earlier civilizations. Could ancient myths be distorted memories of real encounters? Most scientists would say no, but the Black Knight legend persists because it sits at the crossroads of science and the unexplained. Let's explore each major theory. Theory 1: Space debris. NASA maintains that the Black Knight is nothing more than a piece of thermal insulation lost during a spacewalk in 1998. This explanation satisfies many, but not all, because debris from the 20th century does not explain reports from the 1950s, the 1960s, or Tesla's signals from the 1800s. Theory 2: Classified military satellite. Some believe the object is a secret US or Soviet spycraft, but again, this cannot explain pre-space age detections, nor does it explain sightings by early radar systems decades before such technology existed. Theory 3: An ancient extraterrestrial probe. Popularized by Duncan Lunan, this theory suggests the object could be a Bracewell probe, a self-replicating, long-lived machine sent by a distant civilization to monitor promising planets. Such probes have been theorized by modern scientists like Carl Sagan and Freeman Dyson. A machine orbiting Earth for thousands of years would match this profile. Theory 4: A lost human technology. Some propose that the Black Knight might be debris from a forgotten human civilization, one erased from the historical record. A civilization advanced enough to reach orbit long before the civilizations we know. This idea remains fringe, but it persists among those who believe human history is older than documented. Theory 5: Multiple unrelated phenomena. The simplest theory. The legend is a combination of unrelated events woven together into one narrative. Tesla's signals, Cold War radar, NASA photographs, each separate, but eventually fused into a single myth. And yet, if it is a myth, it is one that refuses to die. Even today, amateur astronomers track unidentified objects in polar orbit, objects that occasionally disappear from tracking systems, only to return weeks later. Some claim to have recorded radio signals at unusual frequencies. Space agencies provide explanations, but the evidence often comes after long delays, fueling suspicion. The true power of the Black Knight mystery lies not in a single photograph or a single signal, but in the accumulation of anomalies across more than a century. Events that seem to point to a pattern, a presence, a watcher. And there is one final detail that deepens the intrigue. In 2015, NASA released high-resolution images of an object in orbit that resembled earlier photographs of the Black Knight. For hours, the internet erupted, until NASA quietly stated it was space debris. But experts analyzing the images noted something unusual. The object appeared to reflect sunlight in a way inconsistent with typical debris. Its surface had angles, facets, structure. Was it simply a misidentified object? Perhaps. But many believe the Black Knight, whatever it is, may be something far older than our satellites, something not built by our hands, something orbiting Earth long before humanity began looking upward. If that is true, one question remains. Who put it there? And perhaps more importantly, why does it watch us? Whether the Black Knight is ancient technology, a misunderstood piece of metal, an extraterrestrial probe, or simply the result of decades of speculation, it remains one of the most enduring mysteries of our time. A silent guardian, a cosmic relic, a dark presence circling Earth, a reminder that the universe is far stranger than we imagine. And perhaps that we are not alone.